So we will start our journey through product design today. So in the last two classes, we discussed few things about product design and what are the important challenges and how people start designing new products. So today onwards, we'll be starting the process, or we'll discuss about what are the different ways in which product design is attempted and what are the different kinds of design, etc. But before going to that, let me ask you a few things. How many of you are Apple fans here? You know Apple, right? Not the one which you eat, the products. You know Apple iPhone, iPad. How many of you are fans of Apple company? Very few. How many are fans of Samsung? Samsung fan. Samsung phone, Samsung TV. Samsung has got multiple products. Do you know how do they fight each other in the markets? So somebody will try to eat the other one, right? So Apple will try to see how the Samsung product can be stopped in the market, or how can they capture the market from Samsung or Apple. And they have a lot of fights for their patents also. You might have heard about the patent fights going on between Apple and Samsung, right? And what do they do to capture the markets? What are the things these companies do to capture the markets? Pardon? Advertisement, okay. What else? Don't they bring new products to the markets? They always try to bring new products to attract customers, right? It's not only advertisement. Advertisement will do to some extent, but they try to bring new products to the market so that they can compete with the other products what is available in the market, or who are the competitors for the products. So in the product domain, or in the company's domain, the designers play a major role in making the company or breaking the company. So they can actually make products which will actually take the company to new levels, or if the products are not good, the designers are not working well, then they actually go down the market. I mean, they will not be able to succeed in the market. So most of the cases, the design of new products is a key battleground for all the companies. Especially if any consumer company you take, whether it is Apple, Samsung, Nokia, or whatever the company you take, you will see that bringing new products is one of the key challenges for all these companies. So that is the battleground. Most of these companies will be having a big battle to capture the markets. Have you heard of Ambassador? What is Ambassador? Car, right? Do you see it in the market now? Why? They could not compete with their competitors because they did not bring new products or new cars which will actually capture the markets. They had only one product or very few variants, and that was not attracting people, and other companies came up with good products, new products to compete the markets. Similarly, Nokia phone. Nokia was one of the leaders in mobile markets few years ago, right? Are they there in the market nowadays? Very limited presence, right? Because they could not bring up new product. So bringing new products is one of the key challenges for any product manufacturing company. And who will do this? The designers, right? So the designers are the one who actually make new products and bring to the new markets. So they are the frontline troops for any company, for any industry. Product designers are the frontline troops who will actually fight with their competitors. All others are actually supporting them only, like advertisement, pricing, and all those things are supporting factors. But the moment you bring new products which are actually innovative and has got a lot of features and the functions which will actually meet the requirements of the customer, that will be the biggest asset for any company. But there are a lot of risk and opportunities in any product development. Not all products will succeed. A lot of products will fail in the market because of various reasons. So there is a big challenge or a risk in developing new products also. There are a lot of case studies from the industry which talks about how new products are being developed or how can they actually change the whole market with bringing new products. For example, in IBM, heard of IBM? What is IBM? IBM is a company which actually manufactures computers, right? Yeah. So they were actually the world leaders in market or computer products in 1980s. And there were no competitors for them, and they were actually doing very well with the computers. But there were no printers coming from IBM. Most of the printer market was dominated by Koreans and Japanese companies. So they were actually very good in making printers, and all the printers, or 90% of the printer market, was completely dominated by Japanese and Korean companies. And IBM wanted to see whether they can actually get into the printer design, or can they bring new printers to the market and compete with the Japanese and Korean companies. So they analyzed the market, and they found that they will never be able to compete with Japanese or Korean companies in printer manufacturing, mainly because printer had hundreds of components and a lot of manual assembly needed, and all this was possible only in Korea and Japan because of very low cost of manufacturing, or the labor cost was very low. So it was possible for them to compete and make the product at a very low cost. So they decided, oh no, we can't do this, so let us don't get into the market, into the printer market. But one of their research heads, he thought in a different way. He thought, why not we are so big in computers, so we are having so much of engineers, why can't we make printer? If Japan and Korea can do this, why can't we do this? So they formed a team and then tried to understand what actually goes into the printer design and how the printers are designed and manufactured in these companies, I mean the Korea and Japan. And they formed a 5-member team with 3 designers and 2 persons from the marketing, and they started working on it and then analyzed each printer, each product, each component of the printer, and they realized that these are all designed in such a way that only a manual assembly is possible. And with manual assembly, they cannot make the product in the US. So therefore, they decided that we will rework the whole design. We will make a new printer design, which is completely different from the existing printers, where the number of components can be reduced to very minimum, and assembly can be automated. You can do robots or automation to the assembly, and as many products as possible can be made of plastic so that it can be easily assembled. So like this, they actually came up with a new design where the cost of manufacturing could be brought down drastically, the manpower required can be brought down drastically, and finally they brought out the design and then showed that they can compete with the Japanese and Korean products with almost the same cost, but with very high quality. And so they brought the printer, they called it as IBM Pro printer, and then that actually ruled the printer market for many years. So it was only the designers' innovation and creativity, or the creative design of IBM designers, could actually bring the product to the market. Otherwise, they would have never entered into the printer market. But with the designers' creativity, they could actually enter the markets, and they became the leaders in that. And if you take IBM's one more story about the storage media development, that is the thin film inductive heads. So in 80s and 85, that period, there was a big recession in the markets. All of you know what is recession, right? Economic slowdown. And IBM decided to close their research and R&D division in the US, because most of the time when there is a money problem, they immediately said, okay, cut down R&D, we'll focus only on manufacturing and other things. And they decided to close R&D division of IBM. But the IBM R&D division head, he said, give me time, I will come up with a product which will change the whole market, or IBM will be world leader in that particular product. Give me 1 year time, we'll develop a new product. And IBM, with reluctance, they agreed that, okay, we'll give you 1 year time, If you can't bring out a new product in the market, which will actually change the whole way the people use storage media, we will close your division. So this R&D head, along with his designers, the product designers, they worked for 1 year and they came up with this product of the thin film inductive head, and that actually gave them a 12-month, what you call the technology lead over all other companies, so that they became the leader in that particular product, and nobody could actually come to that level of IBM's level of product development. So again, product designers helped the company to capture the market and then continue to be the world leader in product development. So like this, if you look at the history, you will see a lot of product development and the associated lead over other companies only because of the creative designers. And in India also, you can see, Google, Apple, and these are all examples, lot of examples. You can see such things where actually the designers could actually change the way products are being designed and developed by the industry, and which actually gave them lot of lead over the competitors. So this is what we need to learn, that the designers are the one which actually fight with the competitors in the market, though they will not be the front line, you will not be see them, but they are the one which actually create lot of changes in the market. So what these people do, the creative designers, what actually they do? Are they doing the same thing what we are doing? We do a lot of design, and without knowing that we are designing something, we will be doing this. For example, if you go to a carpenter, you go to a carpenter and tell him, I want a table, I want a study table. What he will do, if you go and ask for a carpenter to make a study table, what he will do? He will ask the size, what is the size you require, or 1 person or 2 person. He will ask you a few questions, right? And then he will say, okay, oh, it's a study table, you want this to be used for general study, notebook writing and all those things. He will not ask you further questions, right? He will not ask you, okay, what should be the thickness of the leg, what should be the thickness of the plate, what should be the surface finish you need. He won't ask you all these questions. He will actually make a product and then give it to you. And you don't really test whether it can actually take 20 kilogram or 35 kilogram. You don't really bother, because that's all routine things. But a creative designer or an engineering designer, he will go into the details and do a detailed analysis and then create the product. So the main difference is that in a general design, in a creative or engineering design, is that the level of detail, the level of analysis you need to make is completely different from the conventional design. Because in conventional design, failure analysis is not difficult. The carpenter knows what should be the thickness of the leg to withstand the load. He won't do a failure analysis. He won't do a FEA or a finite element analysis to find out the stress and strain and then see how much deflection it will be having when loaded. So all those things will not be there. He will be trying to use his general knowledge and understanding to create a design. That is not an engineering design. The engineering design is looking into the details, making an analysis, complete analysis, and coming with a new product which can actually meet the requirements of the product, the functional requirement, as well as the requirements of safety and all other things are considered. And that is what the creative design or creative engineering design is coming. So an analysis, the level of analysis, what actually makes a difference in creative engineering design and the conventional design process. Okay, so the last one is the important one. The level of engineering required to complete the design task determines the type of design or redesign. All right, so that was just to bring you back to the product design. You might have forgotten what we discussed in the last few classes. So let us look at the way people approach the design problem. So how do we classify the designs into different classes? Okay, let me skip this. Let us see this picture. Okay, so I'm not sure whether this is writing. No. Okay, so you can see this set of products over here. Can you identify what is this? Pardon? processor. Yeah, this is a microprocessor, and this is a chip, Intel chip. Okay, this is a basic microprocessor. This is a chip which actually goes into your computers and all. And of course, this is the desktop, and this is the laptop. Okay, and look at the next one. This is the CD, and this is the DVD, and this is the your storage media, right? Flash drive. And what is this one? Pardon? That is the transistor, right? Do you know what was the earlier version of transistor? Yeah, they called it as vacuum tubes, right? Now, if you look at these things, so from vacuum tube to transistor, microprocessor to laptop. Can you tell me which one is the original design in this one? The design which actually changed the way people started using products. Pardon? Cassette. Transistor. Okay, yeah, good. Transistor actually changed the way people used electronic devices, right? I'm not sure how many of you seen the old radios, vacuum tube radios, very big one. Okay, probably in old Hindi movies you will see the hero listening to music and all. So they were actually using this kind of vacuum tubes. So it's a big size, and it required a lot of space and a lot of issues with that one. And that actually changed with the introduction of transistors. So transistor can be considered as an original design which actually changed the way people started using products. So such designs which actually change the way the market see a product or make a complete change in the way people use products, such designs are normally known as original designs. Okay. Similarly, a microprocessor was a original design, a very innovative and creative design which actually changed the way we started getting computers. So earlier, the microprocessor was not there, so computers were using again the transistor, the vacuum tubes and things like that. And but the introduction of microprocessor, you got a lot of change in the markets, and that actually created a lot of variation, lot of new product leading to new products which change the whole markets. So whenever we get such design which actually change the whole market or whole product categories and wipe out many things from the market, so such designs are normally known as original designs. So this is an original design, and this was an original design. Do you know what was the previous way of storing data? Pardon? Floppy. Okay. What was there in the floppy inside? Magnetic tapes kind of thing, right? So we are actually writing it on magnetic tapes. So that was the way, and again you might have seen the old cassettes, music cassettes. Okay, that tape one. So you have two holes, and then you put it in the cassette reader. The tape will be having all the magnetic data, and it will be read. And that was the way how data was being recorded in the olden times. And with the introduction of CD media, everything changed. Completely, the whole magnetic tape business was completely closed. And then we started a new product segment, which is actually recording digital data recording. So CD media was one of the original designs which actually changed the way products are being designed and used for a particular application. And similar is the case with the transistor. So now, looking at this kind of development, the product design can be classified into three categories. Okay. So the first one is the original design. Okay. So you can have an original design of products. You can have an original design, and the second category is known as adaptive design, and the third category is known as variant design. That is, any product in the market can be classified into these three categories. You have an original design, which actually changes the whole market concept. It's a highly innovative, inventive product. It actually leads to invention or may lead to Nobel Prizes also because of the importance of that particular technology or the product. And that is basically known as the original design. And when you have an original design, then there will be a sudden growth of products related to that particular original design. You modify that. So when you have a microprocessor, you develop microprocessor based computing devices or whatever the device that is possible. So you develop a lot of products based on the original design. And most of these products will be highly innovative, highly creative, but we don't call it as original because they actually use the product which was developed as part of original design, and they use it for making new products. So such designs are known as adaptive design. That is, you adapt an original design, you modify or adapt an original design to make many more new products which are highly innovative, highly creative, because your microprocessor to microchips to desktops to laptop, everything was an innovation. A lot of creativity was there in developing laptops and all. But all these products are known as adaptive designs. You are adapting a technology or a product or a new product or an original design to get a variety of products. We call it as an adaptive design. Okay. And the third category is known as variant design. Variant design is neither original nor adaptive, but what they do, they just change the size of the product or make small changes in the dimensions and make a smaller one to a bigger one or a bigger one to a smaller one. It's kind of you vary the dimensions or some features to get a new product. For example, you have a washing machine for domestic purpose. You make it for an industrial purpose by increasing its capacity, increasing its torque rating, increasing its strength and things like that. All the technologies, products almost remains the same, not much of changes. But then you get a new product by varying the parameters of the product, and such products are known as, or such designs are known as variant design. So you have original design, adaptive design, and variant design. Okay, so an original design involves elaborating original solutions for a given task. The result of original design is an invention. That is, it happens very rarely. Not every day you will get an original design, because microprocessors, transistors, these don't happen every day. Okay, internet was probably an original invention, and now based on that you can get hundreds of products based on internet. So this way, these things happen very rarely. Original designs happen very rarely in the market. But when it happens, it disrupts the whole market. It actually changes the way people start using products. It changes the way people see products, and probably it changes the lifestyle of product people also. So that kind of disruption in the market, if something can bring that kind of disruption in the market, then we call it as a original design. So can you give some examples for original designs? I have given you few. Can you think of? Pardon? Light bulb, yes. Yeah, light bulb was an original invention, right? But based on light bulb, then you started doing same principle, you use it for many other things. That became the adaptive design, right? Yeah. Any other products? Can you think of original design? Wheel. Okay, yeah, wheel. Yes, original designs. Anti-lock braking system was an original design. There was nothing like that. They brought the anti-lock braking system into the market, and then they started, almost all the cars started having it for cars, all kinds of automobiles started using this kind of thing. So this kind of products which are very innovative, very creative, and actually changes the way people start using products. IC engine was an innovative design, right? IC engine changed the way people start using vehicles. There were, not only vehicles, so many other things changed. Electricity was again an innovative thing, but it's more of a technology. But IC engine was as a product, it was a original design. So transistor, microprocessor, anti-lock brakes, CD media, these are all examples for original designs. So this actually occur only very few in a decade or so. Okay, maybe few in numbers happens, but when it happens, it changes the way people see the market. Or original inventions are often high risk opportunities for changing a marketplace and then dominating it. So these things can actually dominate the market once you have the product. Okay, so let us look at what is adaptive design. So adaptive design, as I mentioned, it involves adapting a known system to a new application. So now you know what is microprocessor or a CD media. Now I adapt it to different applications, or I change things, or I may completely rework on it, but my basic principle is based on the original design. And it may be very creative, very innovative. So nothing to say that okay, it's not creative, you already had it, but it may be very creative design, but it's not an original design. You make a new product by adapting the existing knowledge, and the type of design dominates the vast majority of design activity. So if you look at the products coming in the market nowadays, a vast majority of the products belong to the category of adaptive design, because most of the things are adapted from something else. Okay, for example, you take this camera, take your mobile phone camera, they're all different products per se, but they're all adapted from a original design of a camera, right? And from there you adapt it to various applications. They are very innovative, they are very creative. Nothing to say that okay, these are all not original or they are not creative or anything. But we don't call it as an original design, we call it as an adaptive design, which actually came out of an original idea proposed by someone else, an original product already existing in the market. That kind of products are basically the adaptive designs. Okay, any questions? So give me some examples for adaptive design. Any product you take and tell me what is an adaptive design, what are the products. As I told you, majority, 90% of the products available in the market can be classified into adaptive design. Any examples? Yeah, headphones. Yes, headphones. Yes, yeah, because we had speakers and then it actually went close to your ear. Really adapting that technology, same technology of a speaker is adapted to personal use or whatever. Then, pardon? Tablet PC, yes, tablet PC, laptop PC, these are all adaptive designs. Okay, we had a desktop PC, and desktop PC was actually brought down to your laptop computer, and then to tablets. Yeah. Any other products? I mean, you can see hundreds of products like that. Okay. What about your watch? Is it a adaptive product? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Digital watch? Okay. Then what about your flash drive? Pen drive? Is it an adaptive product? It was actually adapted from your CD to DVD to because the same principle is being used in all, but of course a lot of innovation, creativity in coming from DVD to flash drive. So this way you can see that lots of products can be manufactured or designed and brought to the market by adapting an existing technology. It requires a lot of creativity, it requires a lot of design thinking and design analysis to come up with that product, but still we call it as an adaptive design. So what is the third category? Variant design. Okay, so this brake system for a new vehicle, DVD media, Intel 80, these are all. So Intel, you can see Intel has got a lot of processors, right? And it's starting from 8080, then it started a lot of other products, Pentium 6, lot of products they are bringing. But these are all adapting the existing microprocessor principle They are actually adapting that microprocessors to get new products. So they are all coming under the adaptive design. And the last one is the variant design. Okay, variant design is a modification of a product to suit a particular requirement. So there is no technological changes in that product. It's more of a dimensional change or parameter changes. So certain aspects, yeah. Yeah, so here actually there is no changes in the technology or the process by which the product is being used or developed. Only thing, they change the dimensions to meet some parameters of the product will be changed. For example, you are using a 100-watt motor for a particular thing. You change it to make a 300-watt motor and the size of the thing changes. So that kind of designs are known as a variant design. So for example, you have a grinder, a domestic grinder which I use for making your dosha, idli and all those things down, right? Now you want to use it for an industry, for a big restaurant. So you'll make the whole thing bigger by changing the dimensions. You have to do some design analysis to do that, but it's not that directly you simply change the dimensions and do it. You design the new product, but you are not bringing too much of creativity into that design. Okay? You are just changing the dimensions for some parameters to get a new product. So that such products are known as variant design. Okay? You are just varying some parameters to get a design. So it need not be very creative. There is not much of creativity and innovation needed in that, but still it's a new product. It's a new product. Compared to the adaptive design requires a lot of creativity and innovation to get new product. Variant design, you don't need to. Okay, that's why a lot of people in India are able to do this. If you go to Coimbatore, you will see a lot of industries making mixies, grinders and all, because there is nothing much they do as in terms of new design. They adapt or vary the parameters and make new products to get it. Because the mixie principle is already there. So they modify the dimensions or the size and make new products and bring it to the market. So that kind of designs are known as variant design. Okay, they focus on modifying the performance of subsystem without changing its configuration. So basically, not much of changes in the configuration. Some parameters are changed to get a better performance. That kind of products are designed known as variant design. Okay, so a restaurant size grinder modified to suit a domestic application or the other way around. Air conditioners for room air conditioner to an industry air conditioner. The principle remains the same. Most of the parameters will be changed and configuration, little bit of changes in the configuration, but otherwise there is not much of changes in the whole product. So that kind of design are known as variant design. Got it? So what are the three types of designs? Original design, adaptive design and variant design. So these are the three kinds of design existing. But many times people say redesign. Have you heard of redesign? Yeah. So what is redesign? So it implies that a product already exists that is perceived to fall short of something or it is not meeting our requirement. So we want to redesign the product to meet our requirements. So that is basically a redesign. And this redesign can be done through any of the three methods that we discussed. You can have a completely new design, you can come up with a completely new idea to meet that requirements or to overcome the deficiency in the product. Or you can have an adaptive design or you can have a variant design. So redesign simply means that you want to develop a new product, but you don't know which method you are going to develop that product. For example, as I told you, I am not happy with this projector because every time I have to come connect and then check whether it is working well. I am also not happy with this product. It's not really giving me the required pen or indicator on the screen. So I'm not happy with this product. I want to redesign the product. Basically, I want to modify this product to meet my requirements. How do I do that? So I have one way. I can actually say that, okay, this is not the method to do this. Let me start working on a completely new idea which nobody has thought of, nobody has tried. I will come up with a completely new idea where you don't need to do any of this. My technology is going to be the most novel thing. and then I'll say I'll redesign the products by an original design, which will be an original design which is nothing to do with any of existing technology or the products. If I can do that, then I am coming with an original design to replace these products. And that's a very risky thing because I may fail. If I want to do this, I have to try thousands of methods and then I may fail. If I succeed, I'll be the millionaire next day, right? Because I can have this product to my own development. Or I can look at the existing technologies. Oh, there is a Wi-Fi technology, there is a Bluetooth technology, there are so many other technologies. Can I use any of these products or Wi-Fi products? Can I use any of those things to modify this? Can I adapt that to modify these products? Then I will do an adaptive design and get a new product. Okay, that is the adaptive way of redesigning these products. Or I can look at, okay, this is big, or probably if I make it smaller, change the dimension, I may be happy with that. Then I'll do a variant design and get a new product. So basically, redesign is a term we use mean to any one of the above. That is the adaptive original design, adaptive design, or variant design. Generally, you are not happy with the product, you want to make a new product. And how do I make the new product? Should I go for a original design, adaptive design, or variant design is my choice. So if I decide to go for original design, I'll be developing a technology or a new product which is completely different from the existing one, and I'll be doing an invention which may lead to complete change in the way products are being used in the market. Okay, so these are the 3 design methods by which you can redesign a product. Okay, any questions? So these are some of the examples for the types of design. So you can see the original design, adaptive design, and variant design. And you can have any number of products. You can take any product, you will be able to write down this. So the brakes, steering, entertainment, computing, vehicles, bearings. You can see a lot of things in this direction. So the first automobile was an invention, and then after that hundreds of automobiles came into the market through adaptive design or variant design. Similarly, braking system, anti-lock brakes, and variants of that one. Bearings, computing, steering, brakes. You can take anything like this, and then you will be able to see an original design and an adaptive design, adaptive and variant design. Okay, so probably we will stop here and to see what are the products that is happening in the markets. So now if you search the market in the internet and see, look at the products which are the best technology of any year, 2017, 18, 19, and probably you will be able to see how these technologies actually change the way products are developed in the market, and how these products change the way people use the product for their application. Okay. Is WhatsApp a original design? Yes or no? No. What was the original design in WhatsApp? Pardon? Text message. Okay. Is text message an original design? Pardon? Pager. Yeah. So if you go back, what will be the original design which actually led to all these things? Pager. Wireless technology, wireless communication, communication equipments. What actually led to all these things? Okay, so whenever you see a product, think about these things. Okay, as designer, no, you need to reset your or you need to have a mindset which actually helps you to think creatively. And to do that, you need to look at, okay, when you see a product, you have to look at, okay, oh, what was this the original thing which actually led to this product? When you use a pen, you should think, okay, what actually led to the design of this pen? You know the story of American and Russian astronauts. Okay, do you know who actually invented the dot pen? I mean, your pen, what you are using, dot pen. NASA. Yeah. Why did they develop these products? Okay, so NASA developed the dot pen. For what purpose do you know? Yeah, the ballpoint pen or the dot pen, what you call. Yeah. Yeah, because when you are in space, you cannot use this ink pen because the gravity, the ink won't flow, right? So they wanted to use a pen in the space. So they did lot of research to develop the ballpoint pen. You know what did the Russians do? How did they solve the problem? Yeah, they decided we'll write with a pencil. Why should we spend all the money for a pen? So write with the pencil, problem solved. Yeah, so you can solve the problem in different ways. So NASA decided to go through a innovative or creative or probably a original design, and Russians decided to solve the problem with a simple solution. They did not go for an original design or anything. They solved the problem. So every time you have a problem, so how do you solve the problem depends on what way you want to approach the problem. You can have an original design, adaptive design, or variant design. Okay, so please search for the best technology of 2018 and then see what are the original designs or adaptive design you can come. So you can see these are the products which I have shown. These are basically from 2017. If somebody selects it, I'm not saying that these are the only technologies or the best technology, but you can see that every year there will be a lot of things coming up as products. Okay, so we'll stop here. We'll continue the discussion in the next class. So next class we'll look at what are the different process by which products can be developed, whether it is an original design or adaptive design or variant design. Okay, so before closing, let me summarize. So what is the most important thing you learned today? 3 types of design. That's all what you learned, right? So you should not forget 3 types of design. What are they? Original design, adaptive design, variant design. Okay, done. So we'll meet in next class. Thank you.